quit your job. Life is not a joke. I'm joking. Don't quit your job. That's what the title says. Let's find out.
I wanted to share my story today as a cautionary tale for those of you that are planning on or have a desire to quit your current job. And I'm making this video because I see an awful lot of content that is trending lately about people quitting their jobs, and there's an awful lot of interest in that. And it's something that I have a lot of experience in.
Quitting jobs?
And so I guess I wanted to make this video particularly this morning because it is 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning and I am having to get up and go to work. And I'm having to do that because I made a rash decision last year that meant quitting a well-paid job in order to pursue my dreams, I guess. And I guess we'll start at the beginning.
So those, from the sound of things, he left a good job to pursue his dreams, and then something must have happened and it forced him to get another job. I'm guessing he couldn't go back to his dream job. I'm guessing, but let's find out.
Those of you that follow the channel, you'll know that for nearly a decade I worked in sales, and I did enjoy it. The second to last company I worked for, I was working directly in people's homes, so I was seeing people on a day-to-day basis, and that really suited my lifestyle. I was self-employed, I could pick and choose my own hours, I was making decent money, and I was meeting loads of different people, and that kind of environment suited me really well. And the company then got taken over by an American firm, and a lot of the rules and the goalposts and the targets all changed. And it suddenly became much harder for us to sell the product. The product wasn't as superior as it used to be. And me personally in sales, I know it always gets a really bad reputation, a salesman. And I think that's because there are a lot of snake oil salesmen, people selling terrible products, and are just particularly charming or good at selling that product, and therefore con a lot of people into buying something that maybe doesn't provide them value. And so for me to succeed and to thrive as a salesperson, I've always had to believe in the company and the product. And
that's fair.
When I started at this company, I absolutely did. We had the best product on the market and we had the best customer service. There wasn't really anything. There was only two or three other companies that were in competition. There wasn't really much price difference, and that price difference could always be explained away. But then they got bought by an American firm. The prices kept going up and up and up. This company was an investment firm, so they were trying to increase the value of the company because they plan on selling it, which they haven't done yet. And I just started to feel like the customers that I was presenting to weren't getting the best deal they could. And so I decided to look around, and I ended up finding a really nice company that have a great reputation, that worked in a completely different industry. And the boss of that company really liked the things that I had achieved previously, and he felt that I could provide some kind of value to the company. And again, it was on a self-employed basis, it was flexible, it was well paid. And so I jumped ship, essentially. And what I found in that position is that there was a lot of ambiguity about what I was doing. I wasn't really sure what my role was in the company, and I was starting to feel really frustrated and doubting whether I wanted to get into sales at all. And really, probably somewhere around the 5 or 6 years ago, when I really started getting into or leaning into coaching and therapy and things like that, there was always a part of me that wanted to do something similar. And I posted a video on YouTube, as some of the OG subscribers will know, a video about my feelings of loneliness in my 30s. And that video just absolutely took off. And so I had this interest with coaching and therapy, and I wanted to help people. And then suddenly I had this YouTube channel that was starting to gain traction. And I thought to myself, well, I can put these two things together. You know, I can provide real value, and I can use this channel to explain my experiences and to share what I've been through and share the lessons that I've learned. And that, in essence, can be marketing for the coaching business. And so I always had this thought in the back of my head that that is what I wanted to do. But I never really had a concrete plan on how I was going to do it. It was just always something that I thought that'd be nice. And because this idea was kind of rolling around in my head and I hadn't really given it much thought, I became slightly frustrated with selling, and I started to question whether that's what I really wanted to do. And I am always someone that can't do things by halves. I'm either doing it or I'm not. I'm either in or I'm out. And this is something my coach explained to me years ago. That was your answer.
I've always said if you're going to do something, you might as well do it properly, because that thing has your name stamped on it. If they go and check and see this is poor quality, who done this? Oh, it was Ronnie. Oh, it was John. It's got your name stamped on it, just like a painter paints something and then they sign it at the bottom. Who painted this? Oh, it was this person. So therefore, if you're not happy with the final results, just know it's going to come back to bite you. And the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
I am always someone that can't do things by halves. I'm either doing it or I'm not. I'm either in or I'm out. And this is something my coach explained to me years ago. That was your answer to a question either needs to be fuck yes or a no. And if your answer to a question is not fuck yes, then you don't care about it enough to actually do the thing.
Pardon the swearing, I didn't know.
Because if you're sitting around somewhere in the middle, that kind of not knowing, sitting on the fence, maybe I will, maybe I won't, it just causes you to be stuck. And this was like really helpful advice. And at the time I thought with YouTube and the coaching that it was a fuck yes, and it still is a fuck yes, but I needed to combine that with a plan to actually make it work. And that's what I didn't do. And so I got really frustrated. I decided I was going to take myself off to Southeast Asia. So I went to Thailand, and I had this plan to just travel around the world. And I genuinely thought that when I got there, things would be better and that I would be in a different mindset and that I might be able to work on this business that I wanted to build from that place. And all that happened is that I, along with all my belongings, also packed up my frustrations. And so when I got to Thailand, I found that my frustrations were there with me as well. I hadn't left them behind in the UK. They had come right with me. And what has dawned on me recently, since I've got back from Thailand, I've had a number of different jobs that haven't really suited me, and that's because I have found them out of desperation, because I have been running out of money or I've needed money for something, and so I've jumped into a job. And so what I've realised recently is that...
Hold on, I'm about to give you a life-changing tip that I've always used and have always worked before he carries on there. Start doing projections. If the money that you have, calculate your expenses and say, okay, with the money that I have left right now, can I last 8 months, a year? If not, you know that with the side hustle that you're running is costing you quite a bit and the money left is not going to last you that long. Get a job now. Rather than when you're desperate, because that's when you get into bad jobs that you keep hitting the alarm, snooze, you can't be bothered to go in, it's not fulfilling, it's not this. So I'll much rather, when I don't need to do something, I do it willingly. And then if I don't like the job, I just quit because I know, I still have time. Then the time arrives and it's an emergency and you just need to get any job. That's how you end up depressed and not happy at your current situation. But let's carry on.
And so what I've realised recently is that I am now in a position, I'm not in a strong position where I can really dedicate my time to this channel and to this coaching business, because I am governed in part by fear that I'm going to run out of money and not be able to afford my bills. And and in part by my finances. I don't have the freedom that I would like to put into this business. And so what I've had to do recently is I'm working as a postman, because over the Christmas period they get super, super busy. So if you are in any kind of financial need at the moment, or you find yourself in that place next year, it's not a bad gig with the Royal Mail. It's fairly stress-free. But the point is it's paying the bills. But going back to where this video started, it's Sunday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm having to get up and head over to the depot, pack up and work for the entire day because I need the money. And because I'm being paid less than I used to be paid in sales, and because the work is less flexible because I'm employed rather than self-employed, because I made that rash decision to quit this job, to quit this cushy sales job that I had at the time, I have put myself in a position now where it is more difficult for me to pursue my dreams. And let's face it, if you're planning on quitting your job and leaving your job, you are firstly unsatisfied, but secondly, you've probably got some idea about what it is you want to do, a direction that you want to go in. And if you don't have any direction, you don't have any idea of where you want to go, then I strongly suggest that you reconsider quitting the job and give some serious thought in your spare time to where you want to go. But I really just want this to serve as a cautionary tale for anyone that's considering quitting your job, because times are tough at the moment, particularly in the Western world. You know, here in the UK, I hear it from subscribers that comment. It's the same in the States, in Canada. The cost of living is high. Rent is really high, food is really high, your bills are really high, and you can't just go quitting your job without two things, I think. The first is a very clear idea about which direction you want to go in. And the second is to make sure that you're financially secure and that you can support yourself for however long it's going to take to create this change that you want in your life. And that may be that you want to get yourself another job. That might be that you want to start your own business. If you want to start your own business, these things always take much longer than you think they're going to take. So give yourself more time. You know, in an ideal world, I think you should probably have 6 to 12 months of your living expenses before you decide to do something bold like quit your job and cut off your income sources.
100%.
But if you're planning on changing jobs, changing industries, then I think it's a much easier transition, because you can do a lot of that in your spare time. There's nothing to stop you hunting for jobs while you're still employed. There's nothing to stop you applying for jobs, working on your CV, going to interviews even. You know, a lot of people will make excuses. They've got a dentist appointment, doctor's appointment. Maybe you take holiday to go on these interviews. And you can be doing all of these things while still having the security of having your job. And I'm making this video because I just have noticed there's a lot of trending content on YouTube at the moment about people quitting jobs to follow their dreams, to follow their passions. And I get it. People are pissed off. Wages have stagnated. They haven't met inflation. People are being paid less now than they were.
Yeah, so basically, guys, what it's sound advice, to be honest with you. If you asked me this 5 years ago, I would have told you, heck no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But then again, it depends what situation you're in. We're all in different situations. We all have different money saved, or different amounts of money saved. So I will tell you right now, the best thing to do is get yourself an emergency fund. Prepare an emergency fund, 6 to 12 months ideally. And if your new job allows you to even save more, I would say try and aim for above 10K. Above 10K emergency fund, and then you could be a bit more. The whole point is you're trying to create your own bank. And then that would stop you from borrowing money, from feeling like you have to borrow money when an emergency arrives. You need to be the bank. So meaning stack up your cash so that you're a bank. You can borrow against yourself. And whenever you borrow, let's say if you've got 5K saved up, whenever you borrow, try and pay it back so you bring it back to 5K. Don't just take away from your savings and then you just, all right, great. Always put in your mind, if I take away from it, I need to top it up. Ideally even plus more, like +1. And trust me, this will take you to a whole new level. All right, guys, like, subscribe, share. This was a fantastic video. Thank you so much, Jay Wallace. And let me know which video to check out next. God bless you.